welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're tearing into the forecast models for this mid-November 2025 Arctic outbreak. Our mission really is to unpack the key sources and give you the big takeaways because this isn't just, chilly weather. It's looking like a serious dual threat.
That dual part is absolutely critical. It's like two distinct events happening because of the same massive cold air mass. So you've got this really damaging hard freeze spreading across the deep south, the southeast, and then almost simultaneously a huge but very localized lake effect snow event hitting the Great Lakes. We call it LES.
Right, LES. And the scale.
Yeah.
The sources are saying something like 155 million people could feel these freezing conditions.
Yeah, the reach is pretty extensive. It's a major chunk of the population east of the Rockies, really.
Okay, let's dig into the timing first, because it feels shocking. We're talking December-level cold hitting in mid-November, especially right after it's been, well, pretty warm, actually. The forces mentioned breaking records from the 1800s. Is that likely?
Well, likely is strong, but it's definitely possible in some spots. It's the sharpness of the change, the aggression of it. This air mass isn't just cool. It's forecast to be like 20, maybe even 30 degrees Fahrenheit below average.
30 degrees?
Yeah, deep into the south, even Florida. And the meteorological why? Well, it's kind of a classic setup, actually. Think of the jet stream getting this huge buckle in it, a big dip, a deep upper-level trough, pulling that frigid air straight down from the Arctic.
So it's like the polar vortex is stretching or expanding, isn't it?
Right.
Which the sources connect to the La Nina pattern that seems to be emerging.
Exactly right. La Nina can sort of, load the dice for these kinds of strong Arctic intrusions into the east. The cold air escapes its usual boundaries. And down south, that means serious trouble, not just a frost.
Right.
We're talking a hard freeze. That's the technical term for when it gets below 28 degrees Fahrenheit and stays there for hours.
Below 28.
And that kills crops, ends the growing season abruptly. It's expected right down to the Gulf Coast. Mobile, Alabama, for instance, might see lows maybe in the 25 to 30 degree range.
Wow. So how far south does this really push? I saw something kind of weird in the source notes about iguanas.
Yeah, the falling iguanas. It's a surprisingly good indicator, actually. Down in South Florida, when it gets cold enough, iguanas are cold-blooded, right? So below about 45 degrees Fahrenheit, they just get stunned, immobilized. They literally fall out of trees.
Seriously?
Yep. So if that starts happening, the cold has pushed unusually far south for mid-November.
Okay, that's memorable. And quickly, before we move north, a practical tip from the sources for people down south with plants.
Oh, right. Super important. Do not cover your vulnerable plants with plastic sheeting. It actually traps cold air against the plant and does more harm.
No plastic. Okay, what should they use?
Use blankets, cloth covers, actual frost cloths, something that breathes but insulates.
Got it. Okay, so now let's track that same freezing air north. Over the Great Lakes, it causes a totally different problem, right? Lake effect snow.
Exactly. And the key factor there, the real accelerator, is the lake water temperature. The Great Lakes are running warm, like 3 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than average for this time of year.
And that warm water is the fuel, basically.
Precisely. You have this intensely cold Arctic air flowing over relatively warm, moist lake water. Boom. Massive instability. That's what generates those incredibly intense, narrow bands of snow.
So when we see forecasts mentioning, like, up to 2 feet, is that realistic?
It is, but only in those very specific, historically prone snow belts. Like the Tug Hill Plateau in New York is a classic example. It doesn't mean 2 feet everywhere. Not at all. It's a high-end potential for the hardest hit spots.
Right, localized. But even without hitting the absolute maximum, the travel danger seems huge. The sources mention snow squalls.
Yeah, that's maybe the bigger immediate risk for most people. These intense, fast-moving bursts of snow, they can drop visibility to near zero in seconds. Whiteout conditions, especially dangerous along major routes like I-80, I-90, I-94.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the real kicker here seems to be the timing. Mid-November.
That's the crucial point. Everything is more vulnerable. Cities aren't fully in winter mode, agriculture is just finishing up. Infrastructure isn't hardened yet like it would be in, say, January.
Which brings us to the final thought for you, the listener. The sources include this really striking comparison from the National Weather Service. They noted that historically, the impact of a major Arctic outbreak in the Gulf South region, well, it can actually be comparable to a Category 1 hurricane.
Yeah, in terms of damage to infrastructure, agricultural losses, it's a powerful way to frame the potential severity.
Definitely gives you something to think about. A mid-November freeze acting like a slow-motion hurricane impact. A sobering thought as we watch this develop.